What up, YouTube? It's your boy Double M, and I'm coming back at you with another tutorial. So you see, recently, before the tutorial on expressions, which you should watch, we started to learn how to draw the human body and cover the masculine side of things, how a male body should look. Now that we got that out of the way, in this tutorial we can finally start to cover the female parts of things. As I said in this tutorial, what we're gonna do is learn how to draw the female body and learn how to differentiate, learn the differences, how to differentiate between a male and a female body so that you know which one you're drawing. But before all of that, I need you guys to drop a like and I need you guys to hit that subscribe button to join the Double Empire. You see, I'm trying to build a community here, right? I'm trying to get to 400 subscribers. So please tell your friends, subscribe, hit that subscribe button to join the Double Empire. Okay, what we're gonna do first is go through the body parts, have a quick run through to remind you what goes where. If you want a full in description, I suggest watching the first tutorial. We're gonna have a quick run through just to remind us of what goes where, right? With the help of the skeleton. What's good? We're gonna know how the shapes used for the different body parts are going to look in their respective places. First up, we have the head and the cylindric shape for the neck, right? And then you have the trapezius muscles at the back of the neck. That's what makes the neck look appropriately sized. If you just have the cylinder for the neck, you have the neck that looks too long without the trapezius muscles at the back, right? So you have the neck and the trapezius muscles at the back of the neck, sitting around there at the base. Next up, we have a fairly wide rectangular shape for the thorax and another rectangular shape which is slightly smaller for the abdomen, for the rest of the body. You know, the thorax being the rib cage and the abdomen being the rib cage down to the pelvis, you know what I'm saying? And then we have this circle sitting right there, which is used to identify where the stomach is going to be, where the abs are going to be, depending on how built your character is. The top of this circle will be following the arc of the bottom of the rib cage right there at the solar plexus, which leaves a third of the circle in the thorax and 2/3 of the circle in the abdomen. Then after that, you simply just use cylinders for the arms and the legs, boxes and triangles for the hands and the feet. So it's just a put together, an ensemble, if you will, of these shapes that make up the human body. You have the cylinders, you have the triangles, you have the rectangular shape. Another thing I want to press on that I just remembered now, you have to use 3D shapes depending on what angle you draw the body from. You have to identify that these are 3D shapes because it's a 3D object that you are drawing. There's a video that explains this properly. Give that one a watch. But after you watch this one, hold on, just wait. Okay, now we get to the part where I show you what makes this ensemble of shapes look like a feminine body. We start with the head. That one doesn't really have that much of a difference from a masculine head, but there are some minor differences which I might do actually, which I will do in a later tutorial. Right now we're just gonna keep it simple, so just start off with the head. Now we go to the neck and the trapezius muscles. In a male's body, right, the neck is much thicker and the trapezius muscles at the back, they're a bit more bulkier. They will curve out, right? They make the back look a little bit bulkier. This depends on how buff your character is, but generally, because of muscle definition that comes during puberty, the trapezius muscles look a bit more bulkier. It's sort of the exact opposite for females. In females, the neck is thinner. And an interesting thing that I have identified recently is that the bottom of the neck is somehow just slightly, just a little bit thinner than the top of the neck. It's almost as if the deeper you go down the neck, the thinner the neck is, but ever so slightly. You want to notice a change, but you don't want to make too drastic of a change, you get me? The trapezius muscles have a gentler, smoother profile, have a gentler, smoother slope, just a tad bit smaller and much more smoother. It's like it curves in. Now we come to the thorax and the abdomen. In males, the thorax, the top of the thorax will look much wider and the bottom of the thorax will look much narrower because of puberty coming in, making the shoulders look wider and making the character have that V shape. In a female's body, there's not that much of a difference. There will be, the top of the thorax will slightly, just slightly be thicker, will be wider than the bottom of the thorax, but there's not really that much of a difference. Most of the time you can get away with just drawing a perfect rectangular shape, a perfect rectangular 3D shape. but sometimes you will see how the top of the thorax is wider than the bottom of the thorax. When it comes to the abdomen, there is a change which is visible as day and night. In a male, the abdomen looks like a legit straight rectangular shape where there is no wider side or narrower side or the top or the bottom. It's a legit rectangular shape. For the female, now you see females have narrower waists and wider. The top of the abdomen has to be thinner and the bottom of the abdomen has to be much wider. Not much wider, but show the difference, you know? Almost like you want to incorporate that hourglass figure. Now, wait, listen, I'm not going to say all women have hourglass figure, because they don't. I'm just going to say to incorporate the narrow hips and the narrow waist and the wide hips, you want to incorporate a little bit of that hourglass figure, depending on the character that you're drawing. Then after doing that, there shouldn't really be that much of a difference with the arms and the legs. It's just legit using cylinders for the arms and the legs and triangular shapes and boxes, if you will, for the hands and the feet. And that should be how the female body is drawn. The only differences are perceived in the neck, the trapezius muscle, the thorax, and the abdomen. It's basically the body parts, the main body, you know, excluding the arms and the legs. The differences in these thorax and abdomen size and proportions is something that is generally seen. And that's now what I'm going to do is with this picture take you through the visible differences between the female and the male body. Right now you should be able to see the differences, but I want to take you through the differences verbally to better explain what is perceived, right? So what I said before, you have the neck, which has a smaller size and a smoother profile compared to the gentleman on the right here with a bulkier profile of the trap muscles and a thicker neck. And then we have the hips that are wider in the females and the shoulders that are wider in the males. It's like the opposite. In the females, the shoulders will be generally sized, while the shoulders in the males are wider. Hips for the males, generally sized, but the hips in the females, they are much wider. Another thing to notice is that females generally have thicker thighs. Another thing that I notice is females' arms, they look a tad bit longer than male's arm. Let me explain to you why I think it is, which should be the actual reason, but this is what I think it is. I could be wrong, but let me enlighten you a little bit. You see, in the females, you have the arms, you have the biceps that are looking much longer, not thicker, much longer than the male's arms, right? But here's why. The female does not have that much muscle around the arm to make it look thick. If you go to the male, you have the triceps at the back of the arm, which makes the arm look a little bit thicker. And you have the latissimus dorsi muscles. That's a mouthful. Anyway, you have those group of muscles which make the arm look thicker. You even have the shoulders which cover a little bit more on the arm. Go back to the female, you see the lack of them, which gives this slender, thinner look to the arms. Now, covering the last thing in this diagram, I want to show you how slender looks different from bulky, how the slender side of things looks different than the bulkier side of things. Starting off with the neck. In the female, you have a slender profile with the neck and the trapezius muscles. In the men, you have a thicker neck and a much bulkier trapezius and a much bulkier pair of trapezius muscles. To the arms, like I said before, the lack of muscles is giving the female arm a more slender profile, a more slender shape. The more muscles in the male arm is giving the male a more bulkier profile and a more bulkier shape. We go down to the thighs. Yes, females have thicker thighs, but you can see that slender profile, that slender shape compared to the males, which have a much more bulkier profile and much more bulkier shape. You get what I'm trying to say here? Even for the calves, the way it sticks out and sticks back in. Like I said in the previous tutorial, the one where you're learning how to draw the male body, in the female looks much more slender than the male, which looks much more bulkier. This is how slender looks compared to bulky, you know, slender versus bulky, you know what I'm saying? Now again, I want to say this again, it's up to you and your weird taste to make a character look feminine or masculine. You can make a feminine character look masculine or a masculine character look feminine. Just what I'm trying to say is, if you're trying to make a female character look masculine, make slender look bulky, and if you're trying to make a masculine character look feminine, make bulky look slender.
What?
What I'm trying to say is, without confusing you, is these are the characteristics. These are the points that make a female character look feminine, or a character look feminine and a character look masculine. You want a feminine character, add that slenderness. If you want a masculine character, add that bulkiness, you know? Ayo, 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 before we grab the pencil and the paper, there's something I have to do first. I have to show you how to think when drawing these body parts, when drawing the female body at different angles. You know, 3/4 view, profile view, all those type of views, man, all those type of views. So, what we have to do is we have to come back to the skeleton. What's good? Like I said before in the male tutorials, the one thing you want to identify is the curvature of the spine. At the top of the spine, which is the neck, right? You see that the neck is tilting forward because the spine first bends out, then comes back in. It's like this S shape, you know? So you want to have the neck sort of tilting forward while the thorax is sort of tilting back, and the abdomen is tilting back, yes, but just a little bit. Most of the time, the abdomen won't have that much tilt to it. Also, one thing I want to clarify, this is how the body should be at its natural standing position. Not all the time will there be a curvature in the spine. You get some artists which add a little twist to the stance, you know, add a little twist to how the character stands. But now that we're learning these things, we should keep it simple and identify what is in real life before we add our own different spices to things, you know? So identify that this is the natural standing position. And obviously, yes, when someone is standing up straight with effort, the spine will be straight. When someone is bending over, you get the idea. Alright. I hope you have your pencil and your paper now. We're now gonna go through drawing the female body. See, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna have the side view, the 3/4 view, and the front view all shown at the same time. Whichever view you're trying to learn, focus on that, then rewind the video, focus on the next view, then rewind the video and focus on the next view. I'm gonna have them shown at the same time so I can easily explain things. Okay, so first up you have the head and you have the neck, which is slightly tilting forward, right? When you're drawing the side view and the 3/4 view, obviously this should be seen. But when you're drawing the front view, you can't really see if it's tilting forward. That's only shown with shading, special ways of shading, but that's going to be in another tutorial. Let's just cover these simple things first. In the front view, you're not really going to see the curvature of the spine. You're just going to see it in the side view and the 3/4 view. Next thing, you want to have the rectangular shape for the thorax and the abdomen. The thorax slightly tilting back and the abdomen slightly tilting forward. Remember, this is a woman that you're drawing, so the thorax shouldn't really have that much difference at the top and the bottom, not like the wide shoulders in the male, while the abdomen should really be wide at the bottom. Not really be wide, but just be wide. Show the difference, like I said. Show the difference so that we can identify the wide hips in the woman. Then after that, you want to have the circle to show where the stomach is, to show where the abs are, with the top of the circle just being underneath the solar plexus to show that curve of the rib cage in the front. After that, you should use your cylinders for the legs and the arms, and you should use your triangles and blocks and squares for your hands and feet. Okay, listen here, don't worry. In the future, I will have tutorials which dive into each body part with more definition, you know, how to draw the shoulders, how to draw the arms, how to draw the hands with each fingernail, how to draw, you know, much more definition will be covered in the future. Now we're just trying to identify the shapes, the posture, so that we know how the female body looks and know how the male body looks, and that we are able to identify the difference so that we don't get things messed up. We're starting out simple, you know. And with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, because now you know how to draw the female body side view, 3/4 view, and the front view. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to drop a like and share this video with others that are also struggling to make the differences between the male and the female body. Make sure to hit that subscribe button once again to join the Double Empire. Trying to build a community, 400 subscribers. Let's reach this goal together. If you haven't already, make sure to watch my other videos as well. My outfit redraws, my sketching rants. If you don't know what those are, I suggest watching them so that you know and so that you can see that you will enjoy them actually. And I have other type of videos that I do on this channel as well. So don't be shy. Hit the subscribe button to join the Double Empire. You see, I'm primarily I like to think of myself as a illustrator and character designer, right? So if you want to see more of my illustrations than my character designs, I suggest hitting up my Instagram and my Twitter. Links are down in the description. They're actually waiting for you. So if you want to see them, hit them up and see what I got. God bless, and until next time, Double M out.